It's time for life update number 2. I wanted to show you part of my life for the last couple of years. Bear with me as I set it up. Welcome to my bedroom of sorts. I know many of you haven't understood why I've been in here or why I would put myself in this position, and many of you have understood. So I just want to say that this isn't about a pity party for me. I never wanted that. My goal in moving here in the first place was to find a little sanctuary. Before I get started, Larissa at Prodigal Pieces. And I always invite you to sign up for my newsletter because in recent days and months and past years, I've been hacked. I've had my site hacked and been restored, my social media hacked, and newsletter is the only way that I can directly get things to you without there being any interruptions. So subscribing to my list doesn't do anything but that. Subscribes you to my newsletter. It comes into your inbox only as I publish. So if a post goes live, I send that out right along with it. And I think maybe once a year, I might have a mistake send out where I give you the wrong link or something. I don't think I've even done that this year, but that's the only reason I use the email newsletter list. Okay, in my last post, my life update number 1, I asked you to take a survey. And before I get to those results, I just kind of wanted to talk more about why I was in here, what I'm doing in here, what I'm doing now. Many of you had asked in the survey, am I back in my bedroom? Okay. That's not as easy as all of it sounds. I will be honest, I have only been legally divorced since the end of October. And he did not move out until mid-December. And currently we just started February. So literally have not had the free space to move back in essentially for much time. During that time, if you saw my last blog post, redid the bedroom for my son, and he lived in that bedroom while I worked on the other bedroom. That way we didn't have to have a mess. So literally only as of this week is it freely open. And I'll get more to that, what's going on in there and so on. But never in my life did I expect to find myself in a place like this. This place here, it's a concrete floor. Garage is on the other side. It's a cold wall. It's cold in here and very hot in here in the summer. But I will say I'm a person who likes to look at the silver lining, right? By being in here, it gave me a chance to heal. I got to practice what it's like to be cold. I can literally sleep now on any surface and be fine. I'm more acclimated to when I go outside, walk the dog or whatever, my barefoot journey I've discussed. I can do all these things. I've acclimated and I'm comfortable and I'm no longer worried about the minor things of the world. I have a comfortable bed and it's actually really quiet in here, which was one of the huge blessings for me. The other room is on the end of the house where a lot of the wind and the rain and the snow and storms hit, with the windows and all, and this has allowed me to heal. It's also been a place of great despair as I've come to realize different things along the way about my family of origin, processing, praying. This is my little spot, and honestly right here at the end of the bed, Lula, my godson puppy, curls herself up every night, is right there at the foot of my bed, and she's there for me. And it's been amazing blessing to have her. So yeah, did I ever think I would be here? No. And I had a lot of tears just sucking that in. Like, I cannot believe this is my life. Now, I was never pushed in here or told to go in here. This was my free choice. It was something that I needed to do because I had a lot of negative associations with the other room. And it was in here that my heart palpitations stopped when I lay down at night. I found that that was because of trauma in my life. I would cry myself to sleep a lot of times in the other room. Actually, I would say most of the nights I just was not healthy. No longer have the heart palpitations. I won't say they're non-existent when I'm in extreme stress point. Yeah, maybe they hit, but not like routinely every night like they were. It's very rare. And no longer crying myself to sleep. I won't say that I don't cry at all. It's definitely a hard time. So with that, I wanted to talk about some things that you guys had asked me in my survey. And give me a second here. They asked several questions about, am I doing okay? Just wondering how I'm doing. Well, honestly, it's, like I mentioned, it's not only realizing you were raised by a narcissist parent, but that you were also going through a divorce that was partially caused because you didn't know you were raised by a narcissist parent. All of that is like domino effect in your life. And to process that, I'll go more on this later, because one of the questions I asked in this survey was, do you understand autism, ADHD, so on, other neurodivergencies? Do you understand narcissism? And then do you have any other questions for me? So I'm getting to the other questions you have for me. We'll get back to the autism and narcissism questions in different responses later on. One says, how are you doing all this? And with children, that I should write a book. I have been told that repeatedly through my entire career, that I need to write a book. Yeah. A book would be amazing. I don't know if I'd ever have the wherewithal to sit and go through that. The last post alone, mind you, I'm still dealing with vertigo from a trauma incident a little over a month ago, and trying to get myself back to normal. Right now, if I'm looking at this camera, the camera is moving and I feel like I'm rocking back and forth, also having a pressure on me. So it's bilateral vertigo. It does not have to do with the crystals in my ears. It's really trauma-related vertigo that last time I had it lasted a year, and I've noticed some things that can help me get over it. It was doing better when I was working on the bedroom, because I think when you focus on an object and it starts to reset your vestibular system along with your eyes, that helps. But also I was feeling happy and feeling stress relief. But then going through the regurgitation of all this for my post sharing on my new journey kind of hit me hard and sent me back heavy into the vertigo. So I know that it does go away when I am able to heal and do things in order to cope with that. So do I plan to go back into my bedroom? Or that bedroom, I don't really call it mine, actually. I'm not sure. The plan is to get back in there. I will show you here what it looks like. Get back in there, clean it. It's nasty. Was left dirty. Need to clean it real good, repaint. I want to do things, if I redo it, if not just for me, but just to change it up so that kind of some memories are gone. Change things up a little bit, so I'll be sharing more on that just to make it more of a space. If anything, I really like that I can stage in there and I don't have to tear up my house in order to stage anything. So that's very nice. But somebody asked what religion I was raised with. It's not hard to answer. It's just kind of detail. It has different facets. So I didn't start attending a church until I was in second grade, and honestly, my family wasn't really considered Christian, but they went to church. I don't know if that makes sense. So I went to Methodist church until I reached high school, and that's when I actually met JC and started attending a different church, which was Christian Missionary Alliance. That's where I gave my life to Christ. I feel like the first church I attended was dead, a very dead church. And I've explained that before in past blog posts of why. But this next church I went to really reached out and spread the gospel and told truths and wasn't so rote, repetitive, repeat things. Just came differently from me. And so at the age of 18, I got to know Christ. And so that was in the Christian Missionary Alliance Church, which then I stayed with through college, graduated college, came back. We did come back because we're married to another Christian Missionary Alliance Church where we grew up. That one closed. And then the next city we moved to, that one closed, Christian Missionary Alliance. And then we took a break. I was tired of churches and was feeling that there was a lot of dead churches going on, and kind of said, I'm done for a bit. I want to just regroup and think. And so then eventually went into a Brethren church, but I also have understanding of Baptist and Southern Baptist and different things that through my experiences through college and whatnot, different religions there, just in general religions, but I had very staunch Catholic friends growing up. Understand that. I had Mormon friends. So there's a lot of scope in my background. But what would I say I am now? I'm just a follower of Jesus. And I'm not tied to any necessarily religious affiliation. How did I get my husband to understand that I wanted to end the marriage? That was a bit tricky. Let me also tie that into another question. How did I know the message to dissolve the marriage is from God? Okay, that was not easy. If you've watched the other posts, prior to the year, me giving the ring back, I went through a year of wholehearted pouring everything into the marriage and trying to, what I believe, save it. I knew it was on a bad footing. The previous years before that year was when I had quote unquote strokes, which were not strokes. It was my body responding to trauma, whether it be within the marriage, my parent that is narcissistic, other horrible relationships that I was in that I didn't realize how much was going on at the time, but just literally my person being denied. Okay, so fast forward. So I have those years of strokes, and I thought, okay, I've got one place on this earth. I could be dying for all I know, and I want to make a go. So I gave a full year of shoving myself into the marriage. True to autism traits, he could hang on for about a week or two and then would fall off the map again, is how I would describe it, and just could not keep up. And I, again, went through that in 3 different blog posts prior that I've linked here that you can read, of how we could have done things better had I known and had he known about autism within himself and then our children. Then I gave the ring back, and then after that I only asked that he research autism and start to understand it so that maybe he would come to that grip. So after a year of trying with books, podcasts, videos, there was no effort made. When I say no effort, okay, the logic of the autistic brain would say no is black and white. You either did or you didn't. So was there absolutely no effort? There was the very minute effort. So when I say was there effort, no. And what was my scale of knowing effort? Literally, you're going to listen or read or do the things that are needed to help with the marriage. And so during that year of waiting, that's when I realized about the narcissistic parent. I did not inform him straight off because I had so much to deal with on my plate that I did not want to have to clarify to somebody else my belief in this. This was just for me to process for me. When I did tell him, there was no, wow, are you okay? Nothing. It was, oh, okay, information. And he doesn't know how to relate to that. And that's okay. I expected it. Okay. So did I miss the question? How did I know it was the message to dissolve it? Well, I went into hardcore research into scripture, into self-checking my heart. Where was I in this? I do know that I was taught that, God hates divorce. That is not correctly translated. I have shared related verses to that before. God hates the person that causes the divorce. So there was the Dead Sea Scrolls were found again. I again put that all in my previous blog posts, and how then they redid the Bible like in 2011 after they found the Dead Sea Scrolls and corrected some mistakes in Scripture that were translated incorrectly. Even King James has some things that he personally changed in the Bible to suit it to him. Again, I referenced all that before, and I linked to that, so I don't want to beat a dead horse. But I felt that when you are the only person who's not broken a covenant, there's some covenant broken, and you are the only person putting forth the effort, then you are living with a roommate and not a life partner. That is not easy for me to do that. I'm not a quitter. I've obviously been in this relationship for 30 years, and that was, I'm sorry, I have a bad itch in my nose. 30 years invested. I don't just throw that away lightly. How did I let him know? That was, when I gave the ring back, that was a high sign. But then again, it was like, I'm going to say a year and a half later is when I said I would like the dissolution. Dissolution is where you are agreeing both parties to end the marriage. You can hear Lula squeaking her toy in the background. So it isn't where you'd have to have an attorney and you go to court and you go over and settle different things. We mostly, in a dissolution, you settle things separately. So I had a humongous answer to prayer. I wanted to find an attorney. Here she comes. Hold on one second. Lula's coming. Just a minute, Lula. Good girl. I tried to find several attorneys, and they would charge $250 for just initial consultation, and that was going to take months and months. I prayed. The day I prayed, please, Lord, I just meant to do this, that you would please show me what to do, because I don't feel like this is the right way to go. I found an attorney who is local to Ohio, who is retired from basic law in the sense of divorce, but only deals with dissolutions any longer. So he just wants to help people who want to end the marriage peacefully. He only charges this little amount, and he draws up the paperwork for you, helps you figure it all out, hands it to you, and then it's your job to turn it into your clerk of courts. So that's what was done. We're talking like a 30-page document of different things that we had to go through. He had papers to sign. I had papers to sign. I was the one who initiated it. I'm the one who got the paperwork done for the fees and turned it in. And I will say I did have a panic attack going into the courthouse because it was on the top floor. And wasn't something I ever dreamed of doing. So I'm glad it was peaceful. The hearing itself, you had to wait 30 days once it was submitted. Here in Ohio. It's different for other states. Other states you have to be separated, physically separated for a year, so on. There's different rules. So check your local government if you're interested. 30 days, and then we have a court date, and the hearing takes literally less than 15 minutes. To think, you've invested that much time, can be done that quick. It's just, in a way, a blessing, and at the same time, horrifying. Lula's staring at me because she knows I'm upset. You want to come here? Come here. Maybe she won't knock the tripod. Come here. All right. You're my little therapy dog, huh? So that's how that works. There was no representation needed. We just show up, agree in front of a judge, and make our statements, answer a few questions, and that was it. Walked out. Talk about a hard day to come back to this house where we're both still living and just kind of be carrying on. All right, so there's that. And he did not take well to my request of the dissolution. Who would, really? You know, he didn't really want this. And I'm not exactly sure if anything has changed with him since, but answer to prayer for him was he found a place, a home, to purchase, and we did agree, none of your business, honestly, but I bought him out of the half of the house. Whether I stay here or not is still up to question. I'm asking for God's guidance on that and doing what I can to do my part to keep things as peaceful, calm for my kids. And we're in good relations as far as just communicating and discussing. She's going to lay in her spot. And feel like aside from it being a horrible experience, we couldn't have asked for a better outcome. Really, I feel like God's working in all of it. Somebody had asked, how am I doing it on my income? And for a long time, I was the breadwinner. I would say in the last year or two, it's tapered because of me not being able to put all that into it anymore. And so I'm fine. I have some things that I need to do to take care of, but I do know God is blessing. 100%. I can see it in everything. So thank you for your prayers. Thank you for you're a rock star. You're doing a great job. Been praying, and I can't say how much that means because I've literally done this alone. Some of it I've chose to do alone, but I don't feel like 100% one person in my corner that gets it all. So I may have somebody that maybe understands the marriage or maybe understands the narcissism, but not the marriage. And so there's not really one person I can just go and explain that. Like, it's literally so deep and so wide. Bless my kids for having the patience to understand that I need time at times. But yeah, here in my lovely bedroom, like I said, I'll show you the next one. I've had a lot of prayer time and a lot of focusing on what is the next step? What do you want out of me, God? I'd like to go into more depth within my blog post. You'll read about more mistakes that I was taught within the church on scripture that I, again, have shared before, but I want to share again because people are asking some questions, not understanding, especially pertaining to 2 Timothy, Ephesians 5, where there's reference to submission, that ridiculous umbrella theory from the Gothard. There's different things that I was taught about, as a woman being married, what my role was, that I'm to expect from my husband or he's to expect from me. Wrong. And so I think you've got a facets of just inerrancy that I was taught within the church. You've got stuff that I placed on myself because I didn't know I was raised by a narcissist parent. You've got the autism factor. You've got homeschooling and just a business owner. I've got all these things I'm juggling, plates spinning nonstop and trying to keep my head about me. And I feel like I'm doing a good job. My body will tell you different. The vertigo is saying, hey, you're not handling well certain things. And so I listen to my body and take it easy and do the things I need to heal. So, all right, let's take a minute and go see this room we're talking about. All right, here is the room, empty and got some issues, empty mostly anyway. So we'll be minus the lights and stuff. Still have my cupboard. This is it. And this is where I will decide, excuse me, whether I want to come back in here or not, or just you. I'm trying to share. I feel like that was kind of a long discussion, but not sure if it answered questions. Hoping that you can stay in touch to reach out. If you have more questions, feel free to email me. My whole goal is to just be very open about this so that maybe you can glean. Maybe you can learn so that you can avoid the pitfalls I encountered and can look to healing, how to be a healthy you, how to be the best person that God would want you to be. And I'm sorry if the camera is swaying. It's literally me and my vertigo trying to hold this still. Yeah, just that. And I can't wait to see what God has in store for me and my kids in the future. All right, until next time, Larissa, Prodigal Pieces. Bye.